Bravo! Bravo! Dun, 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 dun. And here we are for another show about the Bildens.
Yeah.
Now, the Bildens are a family from the mid-1930s. They lived during the Depression.
Hi, Joe Boy! Hi, Boss.
Everyone was equally poor, so therefore democracy was really at work. Through all this, there was a family that lived together in the mid-Oklahoma plains. Their name were the Bildens. And the Bildens had a young boy by the name of Silly Joe.
Hey, Silly Joe!
Well, Silly Joe
Hey, Silly Joe!
had his fondest memories back then, during those years, the depressed years. And often he would sit up in his room and think about all the depressing things that he had to live for. He was so happy. He learned to write, and he wrote many fine stories. But his father would often say, "Silly boy, I don't know why you're writing these silly stories. Nobody's ever going to read them, you jerk." And what are you doing with these stories? Where do you send them?
Dad, I sent it to some big-time New York newspaper, and they promised they'll publish them for me.
Son, why don't you go out and feed the chickens? You know you're never going to make anything selling those stupid stories. What was that, a knock at the door?
Boy, Dad, you're getting awful smart. That was a knock at the door.
Well, answer it. Mother.
Oh, listen, kids, listen. There's a letter from New York, from a big-time newspaper in New York.
Let's see it, Mother.
Oh, Dad, it's for me. I just know it is. Oh, golly, gee whiz, I'm going to be a big star. Open it up.
Father, I'll take care of this. I'll open it up. Now, it starts off here. Let's say it says, "Dear Silly Boy," or Silly Joe. I call you Silly Boy, they call you Silly Joe. It says, right here it says, "We have read over some of your fine letters you've written, and if you keep it up, we're having the police on you. You write us another letter like this, and we'll have you arrested and you'll never get out of jail. Thank you. Signed, the publishers of the New York Times."
Gosh, notice how they said thank you? And asked me not to write again? This is wonderful, Dad.
Shut up, silly boy, and go out and slop the hog.
Mom, please tell him to let me write more letters to New York. Well, honey, I don't know. I think you better do like your dad says and go out and slop the hog. Oh, Mom, you go out and slop the hogs, you fat pig.
Now, Silly Joe, don't talk to your mother like that.
Shut up, Dad, or I'll hit you with this hammer.
Now, son, put down... Son! No, son! I never touched you.
Oh, what have you done, Silly Joe? You've hit my husband, your father. You've Silly Joe, put the hammer down. No, Silly... Now I can start writing letters all over the United States. I won't have to listen to Mom and Dad anymore. Gosh, who can I write to next? Maybe I'll write to... Oh, I don't know. I'll write to anybody. But first I have to go to bed because it's my bedtime. Well, let's go, rest of you kids. Let's go upstairs. Is everybody in bed?
Yeah.
Well, good night. Good night, Mary Jane.
Good night, Silly Joe.
Good night, Ralph.
Good night.
Good night, Harvey.
Good night, Jane. Good night, Mike. Good night, Harry. Shut up, Joe. Get your feet out of my bed.
Get your elbow out of my ear.
Good night.
Get your tongue out of my nose. Get your tongue out of my
This episode of The Buildings has been brought to you by the Quaker Lace Company. Maker of fine lace in order to cover up that crummy house of yours. Remember, a tassel a day keeps the dirty away.